Hi, I'm Twinkle, and I am still coming to you from Lyles, Tennessee, and I am in the peacefulness of somewhere else. And I want you all to understand or try to take to heart that 17 years ago, I had that mid metatarsal separation on the right foot, and I tore that stuff apart, and then it was misdiagnosed, and 6 weeks later I found out that it was a fracture. And I did have surgery, and I had that screw put in there to try to repair it, and I kept that in for 6.5 months. They took that out, and I then was non weight bearing in the walking boot for 3 months, and then I started physical therapy, and I was in there for 8.5 months. And less than a year, I'm gonna go ahead and tell this now. Less than a year after that injury, I I know I'm trying to get rid of it now. It's my garbage. So the last baby I could have ever had went away on January 8th of 2002, and my injury was January 26th of 2001. And I tried to risk that. And it's not like anybody made me pregnant or anything. Um, but I wasn't supposed to have any more kids. My son Ozra was a blessing already, because I'm like damaged on that one side from losing two babies when after Ricky was born. And so I started bleeding, and also was in that baby, and the pain meds and the X-rays uncovered, because I didn't know. I had no idea, and I've never been able to let that go. And then it went on to everything else that it was. Oh boy. I don't even really know how to. So I had a spinal cord stimulator implanted in 2006 as an alternative to opioid therapy. And I was on a low dose. I've always been on a low dose, and I've never had a second. I've never had anything for breakthrough or anything like that. And so I did have a revision in 2009 where a second lead was added, and because I had a migration and that was pulled down, second lead was added. And I started the Compass Center for Functional Restoration then. An amazing program, it really was, because, but it was a full day, it was hard. But I did graduate from that after 6 weeks, and I was working for mdjunction.com, and I was the second in lead at that RSD support group. And I founded my support group in 2003 over there on MySpace, and then eventually I moved my group to Facebook. And there's been so much I really couldn't even try to tell you that my son's TBI, traumatic brain injury, followed. He was in the hospital for 11 days, and they had him intubated, and he was 15, and he was, and my husband had a heart attack when he was 37, and he was diagnosed with diabetes at that time, and they put the stents up in there, and then a couple years later, he did have a quadruple bypass, and they removed the stents, and he was able to get me to the hospital like right after, because I was the only one. When he come home from the hospital, try having it like cut there, and from your wrist up to and then down your leg, because I had to take the artery and so I did bust my everything in the lack of strength that I had, and I lifted that man up, and I got that man to the potty, and I got that man everywhere he needed to be, because I had to. And I then moved out of my bedroom into the living room, put the couch up in there so that I could be right there for him. And I spent Christmas over there in the hospital. They wouldn't let me be with him at first. So I slept those days outside in the van because I was going to leave him. I never left that hospital. And so we headed on into the next years and stuff. And I had that second gallbladder attack thing. And he did get me over there. And so I've had 2 internal hemorrhages from gallbladder and liver and partial liver removal. And that was 13 and 14. I had, and it was nothing, really. It was nothing. It was just a battery replacement to my spinal cord stimulator. And our daughter was diagnosed with EHE. And you're all going to have to look that up because I can't pronounce it. It's epithelioid hemangioma, something like that. See, I got the hemangioma. I have that. I have that stuff. But so it was just boom, 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 boom. And there's some I'm not even ready to talk about yet. I'll talk about that at a later date. But everything that we do and we learn in life leads us somewhere. And it led me to Lyles, Tennessee, and Dixon, Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee, and our goal and the goal program, Dr. Ed Glaser and Monica DePriest, and not just for treatment or a sense of learning, but for working the rest of my life and not being associated with, everything that has been. So I am proud to say I'm a representative of the GOAL program, and so I'll be back here pretty soon. I'm going home Saturday, but I'll be back here again, and I just gonna go forward. And there was one thing I wanted to do, and that was to get my ass back to work, and I am. And I will be here to give you all those MLT facts, and I got a little cold too. If I have to, I will cite you because I know some of you need that information. You need to go look for it. But if I cite you and you don't believe it, you have to go read it. You have to go figure it out because you can't say no. It ain't, unless you know. And so I'm gonna be there for you all along, and I'm gonna tell you that 1 week, add 2 weeks. I got to minus a week because my mama was here for 5 days. Oh my God. If somebody would have gave me 3 weeks back then, I wouldn't be here now. You know what I'd be doing? You have no idea what I'd be doing because I would have been flying a whole nother direction. And I love you all. And it's only just begun. Well wishes. Deuces high. Always be stronger than pain, because if you can be, you will. And remember one more thing. So, when I won the Bakken Award last year for Medtronic, Dr. Bakken, co-founder of Medtronic, they asked us all for a quote. I actually wrote my own. It wasn't a quote that was already out there in the world. It was, and I said, when you think you can't, maybe you already have. Remember that for all of you. Try to remember it and take it to heart. Bye.